People ask me that about whether I do improv or stand-up. And the obvious times are when it's a big deal. You know, I opened for Weird Al Yankovic at the State Theater in front of 2,000 people. I was nervous, you know. But then again, I'll perform in front of 12 people at a small little nightclub in Iowa. Be just as nervous. Of course. Are you guys nervous before you go out?
Yeah.
And do your thing? The reason he does word ball or any of the other warm-up games is that a team has to warm up mentally before it can do anything physically. When you watch sports teams, they do the same thing. They've already practiced, you know, baseball players have already practiced pitching a ball 1,000 times, but you're the catcher and I'm the pitcher, and we've got to connect brains because that's where you're going to win or lose. Technical skill has nothing over the ability for 12 brains to all think at the same time. Because if you shift a little bit unexpectedly, say you do something out of the routine that I'm not expecting because it's out of the routine, I better shift with you. Because if I don't, we all look bad. And the whole important thing in improv, we had one guy who learned this lesson, and the lesson is there's no way to break improv. You can't do it wrong. You're just doing it differently. We were doing a show once, and there were two people sitting on the side. And you guys were out there performing, and we had 300 audience members out in this big theater. I looked at them and I said, you guys are going to do songline. And this guy went, I said, what's wrong? I never heard of it. And I said, okay, here's what you do. And in 2 seconds I had to describe, just before you guys were done, and say, you're going to get out there, and every line has to be a line from a song. That's your dialogue. Every line has to be a line from a song. Does that sound like it makes sense?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't to him. Okay? This guy already knew it. So they got out there, and I'm standing out there and said, okay, here they go, songline scene. This guy started the way you normally do, with the line from a song as if it's dialogue. You know, hey, good morning, sunshine. That's a line from a Beatles song. This guy thought he was supposed to sing everything. So he's out there going, well, I'm just going to make breakfast for you. Have some eggs. And everyone on the side, the troupe was going, he's ruining it. They were tugging on my sleeve going, how are you going to fix this? I said, leave him alone. This guy kept doing the way he normally used to do it. This guy just kept singing everything. Who didn't know the difference? The audience. They went, yeah, that was different. You know? Afterwards, we always have a note session. We sit down and we talk over the show. And we got to that part of the show, and I said, oh yeah, songline scene. What happened? And everybody's hand shot up, and they all said, oh, he didn't know how to do it right. I said, no, that's not what went wrong. What went wrong? He said, well, he didn't say every line he sang. No, that's not what went wrong. What do you think went wrong?
They were like all panicking.
They told him he did it wrong. This guy looked like he panicked because that's not what he was expecting out of this guy. So as soon as he started singing, this guy went, now everybody in the audience knew, hey, something's wrong. We don't know what it is, but we can tell by that guy. The singing dude was having a blast. Nobody told him he was doing it wrong until after the show. And after the show he said, did I do it wrong? I said, no, you invented a new improv. That's what creating as a group is. Whatever is wrong is now inventing something new. And the only time the audience will feel it is if one of you has that look in your eye. That's why we warm up with word ball. Because a warm-up has to include 4 things. You have to talk together. There has to be some words exchanged. There has to be movement, some physicality. You have to have eye contact, and you have to laugh. Those 4 things you have to do as a group before any time you either perform or practice. Even before a practice, you've got to do some of this stuff. With all 12 of you, you can do it that way, or you can break off into 2 groups or groups of 3, but you don't want to do it where I'm just with my best friend and we do it the way we always do it. Because that's not going to help when you do something that I don't expect. We all have to have the same mind. So that's why I encourage you to do these before every time you act as a group. Because it's a discipline that keeps it going. That's why the woman who's been with us for 4 months, the audience can't tell any difference between her and the guy who's been here for 12 years. Because they warm up together, they get rid of all that fear, and nothing's there. So let's do it. Who needs a reminder for word?